A phone rings. Hello, philosophy department. Is Jack there? Well, what do we mean when we say Jack? Is there really such an entity? Or is Jack simply a description, a label? There are countless people who call themselves Jack. Can they all be doing so accurately? And by the way, where is this there you speak of? As I listen to you, I experience your voice as a physical sensation within my head. Certainly Jack isn't in there. Wherever your entity called Jack is, it's probably safe to say that that is where he is, at least for the moment. I just would like to speak with Jack. I'm sorry, Jack was killed this morning. Or was he? After all, here we are, talking about him. Is he truly gone? One way of looking at it would be, click! It's no bullshit! An astounding collection of amazing stories from the secret files of Believe It or Else magazine. Read these astonishing facts and feel your fucking brain melt. The sun does not really give off light. It merely appears to give off light because everything around it is so dark. The Belzini tribe of South American Indians will eventually be extinct because they initiate their young by putting them to death at the age of 3. During her entire 64-year reign, Queen Victoria never once went to the bathroom. She said she was holding it in for a more appropriate time. Her words were, "We don't have to go just now." Indianapolis, the capital of Indiana, is actually located in Brazil. It only seems to be in Indiana when viewed on a map. When the Alexander Farkington family moved from Boston to San Diego, they had to leave their dog Peckerhead behind. Miraculously, 2 weeks later, the dog showed up in Key West, Florida. Mistakenly, Peckerhead had taken Interstate 95 south instead of getting on the Massachusetts Turnpike. Contrary to popular belief, Babe Ruth did not call his famous home run shot. He was actually giving the finger to a hot dog vendor who had cheated him out of 12 cents. Incredibly, there was no Hitler. There is no record of any such person. It's true there was a little German man with a small mustache who combed his hair to one side and started World War II. He also killed 6 million Jews, but he was not Hitler. He was in fact a shoemaker named Hank Fleck. A cheetah is actually slower than an armadillo. It only appears to be faster because the armadillo moves so slowly. Unbelievably, a goldfish can kill a gorilla. However, it does require a substantial element of surprise. It's now possible to travel completely around the world without money or credit cards. You must be prepared, however, to walk and swim extremely long distances. A 42-year-old man from Ball Bender, Wyoming, drove a riding lawnmower backward from Vermont to Argentina. The trip put him under such stress that he is now incapable of thought. The pyramids are not really old. They were built in 1943 as a joke by drunken Italian soldiers on leave in Egypt at the time. All photographs of the area taken before that time have been retouched. The sky is not blue. It merely looks that way because blue is the name we have given that color. 2 times 2 is not 4. It is 9. Actually, everything is 9, except 17. 17 is actually 6. Placing a 200-pound pile of cooked garlic, dog shit, and chocolate chips on the doorstep of your newly purchased home will keep your enemies away. However, it will not prevent your new neighbors from considering you a family that bears watching. The record for the greatest amount of Jell-O in one location belongs to Lemon Lime, Minnesota, where residents poured 20,000 boxes of Jell-O into a lake and heated it just to claim the title. Most of them are happy with the results. However, some local residents diving in the shallow areas claim to have hit their heads on small pieces of fruit cocktail. Here's one more thing you don't need that costs too much and won't last long, even if you've never had credit before, even if you owe money, even if you're bankrupt, even if you don't intend to pay. We don't care. Thousands of customers come back to us year after year, and they all say the same thing. Please give us our money back. Remember, it costs a little more, but it doesn't work as well, and it's loaded with things you can't pronounce. Special prices for senior citizens. Triple. Don't forget, we're big enough to give you a good fucking and small enough to smile while we're doing it. Usually when you go to someone's house, they offer you coffee. They say, "You want some coffee?" I tell them, "No thanks, I have coffee at home, but I could use a little pancake mix." I try to get things I need. If I don't need coffee, I'm usually prepared with options. Do you have any of those Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs? The ones with the little hunks of weenie in them? Good. I'll take a couple of cans of them. Large if you have them. By any chance, you don't have any Hebrew alphabet soup, do you? Nah. Okay, I didn't think so. How do the wax beans look today? Ah, the produce didn't come in yet. Well, I guess you better just give me a couple of rolls of toilet paper and some glass wax, and I'll be on my way. I gotta get over to Farley's house and do my drugstore shopping. He's having a special on gauze pads. Be a smart shopper, and don't forget to bring your coupons. I'd like to talk to you about fruit-flavored teas. These would be teas that are flavored like fruit. Fruit-flavored teas. You need to understand that. These are not fruits. They're teas, but they taste like fruit, all right? They have names like strawberry kiwi, lemon berry, orange mango, wild cherry, blackberry, and cranberry. They taste like fruit, and they sound like fruits too, don't they? They're not. They're teas, fruit-flavored teas. And frankly, I don't understand this. Personally, I've always been of a mind that if you're looking for fruit flavor, if you're genuinely interested in something that tastes like fruit, and you find yourself in the tea section, you're probably in the wrong aisle. My advice is, if it's fruit flavor you're after, play it safe. Go ahead and get some fruit. I have found in my experience that fruit almost always turns out to be a reliable source of fruit flavor. Another good place you may wish to look for fruit flavor would be in fruit juice. Fruit juice is made by squeezing the juice out of the fruit. Perhaps that's why they call it fruit juice. It doesn't taste like tea. For tea taste, you would need to get some tea. So let's sum this up. If it's fruit flavor you want, you can't go wrong with fruit. Or, as I pointed out, fruit juice. Don't be ordering tea. Tea has a tea flavor. It's not like fruit. It's more like tea. If you want tea, I say order tea. That's a different experience. It's known as having tea. By the way, have you ever noticed there are no tea-flavored fruits? Take a clue from nature. I don't understand why a chocolate dessert should include raspberries or strawberries. Intrusions of that type spoil the dessert. Leave the chocolate alone. It was doing fine by itself. I mean, here I am, innocently sitting at my table, waiting for a nice chocolate thing with lots of whipped cream and chocolate sauce to arrive, and I find that some asshole in the kitchen has decided to show off by throwing a bunch of strawberries around. Chef's ego. Strawberries belong in strawberry shortcake, not in chocolate desserts. I wouldn't want a bunch of chocolate in my strawberry shortcake, would you? No. Ergo, I don't want strawberries hanging around my chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is called chocolate cake for a reason. It's chocolate. Leave it alone. Put the strawberries in a nice sherbet if you must, or put them in a bowl by themselves, over there near the raspberries. But please, don't spoil my chocolate. Hey, chef, you want to exercise your ego? Weave the berries into fabric and make a strawberry chef's hat. Be as creative as you want, but stop fucking with my chocolate. P.S. People who dip sweetly tart strawberries into liquefied chocolate, wait for it to cool, and then eat the whole thing ought to be placed in mental institutions. What you should do is this. Drink the chocolate before it cools. Then put the strawberries on your kid's cereal. And while we're at it, folks, nuts have no business in ice cream. Ice cream should be creamy. Nuts interrupt the creamy idea. Chunks of nuts don't belong in ice cream. Put 'em in a little bowl by themselves. Put 'em in a candy bar. Stick 'em up your nose for all I care, but leave my ice cream alone. And in general, please stop fucking with my desserts. Euphemisms and politically correct speech have also infiltrated the food and restaurant businesses. We may as well begin with the inflated job titles, since they seem to be showing up everywhere we visit. In a truly absurd departure from reality, at some point waiters temporarily became wait persons, as if waiters and waitresses were somehow sexist terms. For a while there, a few of them even became known as waitrons, until everyone involved simply refused to call them that. Now they seem to have settled on servers. These servers are said to be on the wait staff. Wait staff seems forced, doesn't it? And it goes without saying, no restaurant today would dare allow a cook to cook the food. Instead, the cuisine must be prepared by a chef. An important factor to keep in mind with all of this restaurant and food talk is yuppie pretentiousness. I was in a yuppie joint last year where the cover of the noontime menu, instead of saying menu, actually had the words lunch solutions.